So I talked to Tom earlier, and he
Okay.
said that you brought him in to the brand, to the Jordan brand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, originally Tom worked for us in the Innovation Kitchen, advanced R&D, and he was one of the first young people that we hired into that. Usually it's like really older, more experienced people that we bring. He was so talented, we brought him right in, right out of school, into the Innovation Kitchen. He's been a great performer all through the years in the Innovation Kitchen, especially when it comes to actually taking care of the details and helping really develop a wonderful project that works. And we felt like we needed to move him into the Jordan brand, because the Jordan brand is about sports performance. We always wanted to make sure, that there's a really strong team that cares as much about performance as anything else, and so Tom is that person.
Awesome. Now, I read online that you guys did an interview, and you were saying that Jordan brand is going more towards a more dressy look, where Nike seems to be going more toward like a space age kind of plasticky look. Was that like a brand decision? Is this like your decision, or?
Well, it's kind of a group creative decision, but I tend to be the leader of kind of design direction here and there, around the company. And when you have so many different basketball products, you really don't want to be redundant, and you don't want to steal sales away from other parts of our own business enterprise. So when we looked years ago, when we started developing the Jordan brand, we knew that because of Michael's classy, sophisticated persona, that the product needed to reflect that. On the other hand, the Nike brand is well suited to kind of go for it, and especially being a lot maybe louder and more youthful, and so that made it easy for us to make a decision and say, you know what, in the Nike brand you can sort of just do whatever you want to, throw new technology, wild colors, crazy combinations of things. On the Jordan side, so that it's not the same as that, we felt like, well, we're just going to stick to Michael's persona and D-Wade's, in this case, D-Wade's persona. He's a really classy, sophisticated guy, dresses well, isn't a loud, kind of overbearing kind of person, and so the design for Jordan can reflect that, and then it'll match up with him too. So that's how we do that, and therefore, you can be a Jordan fan, and that has a certain look in your closet and on your body when you go out, or if you're playing. And then if you want to, let's say, wear a Kobe or a LeBron, they're going to be quite different, in terms of style and maybe some of the technology.
Now, technology-wise, how far do you guys try to push the envelope? Is it required every year we have to do something new to the shoe, or is it more just we use what's suited, or is it more trying to push the envelope, or is it more just we use what we think is best for this year?
Well, Jordan's always been a perfect platform to push for new technology, because people will believe it sooner and better with that kind of with the credibility of the Jordan brand behind it. So if you want to try something, especially technically different, in different materials, and it's a great place to sort of basically debut some new idea. So been doing it for years. It's been working. So we'll continue to do that, but always with this veneer over the top that is all about this classy, well-crafted sophistication, and that layers on top of the new idea, so it gives it a certain flavor, if you will.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, and one last question. So since you've been designing since the 3, right?
That's correct. My first Jordan was the 3.
The 3, right? So now a lot of fans are like really only after the Jordans when Jordan was playing. Do you guys do anything special to the designs to kind of give them the old feel? Because a lot of sneakerheads, they really like the retro Jordans. And what is your take on the whole a lot of retros being released, and as opposed to the new Jordans coming out?
That's a really insightful question, and it's a difficult question to answer, because we realized that when Michael was playing and all those new shoe ideas were coming out, and he was helping power them into the marketplace, it was just really a special time. And so those shoes have hung around, and they're carefully reissued, not too many and not too often, kind of like old Disney movies used to
Right.
get reissued. But that's a good business strategy to always have that in your back pocket, and it helps you sort of stay tethered to the days when Michael Jordan was not only playing, but he was in those great commercials, and then the product was really unique at the time. So we want to keep doing that, but having said that, you can get really stuck. You can actually stop moving forward if you also don't have a plan for then bringing in new athletes and moving into new technology and new designs. So we're trying to do both, and we're trying to balance that out. And sometimes we do hold back the numbers on retros because we think that they sometimes they're too easy, almost too easy to buy, and it's sort of like printing money almost, because you can just do those new colors or even the original colors, and they just automatically sell. But it does not. It maybe isn't the best strategy for long-term projections of where your brand needs to go. So we'll keep kind of try and actually reduce the amount of retros a little bit, and try and up the amount of new stuff, especially now that we have Dwyane. Because now we've got a bona fide big-time star with a great personality, and he matches up really well with the brand. So, we're going to push it a little harder to try and get more new stuff out there now. But we'll never walk away from that retro business, because it's even fun for me, even though I'm not like a young kind of sneaker collector. I still kind of, when I see one of those older designs, it brings back good memories, and that's what it's all about. People want to be attached to good memories and a good vibe. So
I feel like Kevin Hart is Dwyane Wade is like Michael and Spike.
No kidding, they were awesome out there.
They were really good out there.
That was a real good pairing, and I was really impressed with D Wade and his timing, and he was quick off the cuff with some good sharp remarks. And then the pairing, those guys were natural. It was good.
He's his Spike. Yeah, he's his
Spike. I hope to see more of that. I was very impressed, and I was honored to actually be asked to come up there and be on there with those guys, because that was pretty fun. It was pretty cool to be that close.
You're almost as famous as the sneakers themselves. You are as famous as the sneakers themselves. So that's every Jordan fan knows the name Tinker.
Yeah, well, thanks. I mean, it's partly good timing, I think.
Real quick, how's the 2012 coming along?
Several people have asked me if I'm staying for the All-Star game, for the weekend, and we have to get back because we're right in the middle of it, trying to finish that up, and a lot of people working very hard on it. So it's going very well. It's actually going to be, I think it's going to be probably another little bit more of a radical step forward than this past year. This time around, we did the two midsoles, the modular story, but we kind of kept the shoe a little kind of cleaner and a little simpler, so that technical things sort of is part of the big, kind of the big, message. So next year there'll be more of that, but the shoe's gonna take a really different twist. And that's part of how you can be successful as a leader, is you just absolutely don't worry about what anybody else is doing, but always just kind of keep sort of zigging and zagging, right? Moving around. So next year will be quite different from this year's. So that's why we need to get back and kind of make sure that thing is going really well, and it's a lot of, there's literally, again, hundreds of people working on this thing. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun too.
And is there anything coming from HTM? Anything new?
I was just sat down with Mark Parker and Hiroshi Fujiwara, and we've mostly what we're trying to do now, instead of just picking again a retro shoe and kind of redoing it, we're going to use HTM as a way to do some brand new technical innovation as well, in small, real carefully restricted numbers. So that was something that was fun to be a part of, and I really didn't want to be part of HTM unless we were going to start doing that, because I felt like just sort of spinning. That's not my job, is to do retros. Quite frankly, I'm being paid to do some more forward-thinking stuff. And so I've been kind of bugging Mark Barker and Hiroshi. I said, come on, we need to. So we're going to do it. So that's kind of fun. I'm glad you asked that because sometimes in our own categories, whether it's running or men's training or basketball, the marketing people and the sales people, they all kind of it's an arduous process sometimes to get new ideas through the whole get them through to the stores. But with HTM, we can do whatever we want to, and nobody else has a say. So between the three of us, and we actually include Mark Smith, we sort of call it HTM squared, and we just throw Mark Smith in there because he's a great idea guy and super cool. And so we've got a couple of very interesting new products that are going to come out. So and of course I can't spoil the surprise, but it's good. It's a good question to ask, and we're going to make use of HTM, as a way to help us promote new ideas, not just spinning old stuff.
I could talk to you all day, but so like as an artist, so like I write music, and I know like sometimes you just kind of go off the grid and just write songs that have like this own feeling, this own passion. Like, are there shoe designs out there, or shoe designs that you want to make that because of you're part of the brand that you can't necessarily do? Or how do you deal with those decisions?
I'd say it's real similar to what you experience. Sometimes. People just aren't ready for certain things, or if it's just super personal, it maybe doesn't speak to a whole lot of other people. So we go through that process a lot in our own designs, and there are a lot of things kicking around the Innovation Kitchen, and where I specifically I work in the Innovation Zoo, used to be called the Pantry, but it's a sort of a subset of the kitchen. But there are some designs kicking around there that are they're just too crazy for the public,
for the public,
for now, and maybe in some ways, good design work or good music is good for its time and place. You have to sort of pick that time and place sometimes for an idea. So we have. You're right. We have some things sort of not quite ready for prime time.
Are you guys doing